Today's topic is week 3 in our study through the book of Colossians, and we're going to talk about the ancient secret of God's eternal plan. This comes from chapter 1, verse 24 through chapter 2, verse 5. Now, maybe that sounds a little bit serious, right? But God actually had a plan. When he created the heavens and the earth and human beings, he wasn't just sort of making things up. He had a plan all along. And that's actually what Paul talks about in this section. Here's the first thing we're going to learn. The secret, God's ancient secret, is that Christ can live in anyone who believes. If you spend any time reading the Old Testament, you might possibly get the feeling that God was only interested in Jewish people. In fact, a lot of Jewish people got that feeling too. But Jesus changed all of that. Paul says this in verse 26. This message, the gospel that we talked about in week 1, was kept secret for centuries and generations past, but now it has been revealed to God's people, for God wanted them to know that the riches and glory of Christ are for you Gentiles too. Now, I, for one, am very glad that God opened up his offer of salvation to Gentiles, because I'm not Jewish, and you might not be Jewish either. So the message of Jesus is for everybody. That was a big deal in the early church. Here's the second thing we're going to learn in this section. The heart of the message, the heart of the gospel, is Christ himself. It's not some impersonal, lifeless religion. It's not institutionalized religion. It's not just liturgy. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. If you go to a church that has traditions, if you love those traditions, that's great. But it's easy to allow those traditions to become the point. And Paul wanted to make sure that the church in Colossae didn't do that. He says, this is the secret. Christ lives in you. This is the essence, the heart of the message. It's Christ himself in human beings, in individuals, in the community of Christ, in families, in couples. Christ himself. Christianity is not just some religion. Christianity is a means to a personal relationship with Jesus himself. Jesus is in us, moving us, impacting us from the inside out. Here's the third thing. This kind of authentic personal faith, not just institutional religion, can give us complete confidence as followers of Jesus. I've met a lot of people that don't have very much confidence in their faith because they don't really have a personal relationship with Jesus. But Paul says here in this section that when you have Christ in you, this real relationship with Jesus, then it gives you assurance of sharing his glory. You know that you're saved. You know that you'll be in heaven with him someday. And later he says this, I want Christians to have complete confidence that they understand God's mysterious plan, which is Christ himself, Christ in us. So really, as you read this section, and as you pray about this and talk about this with a mentor or a small group, ask yourself this question. Do I have complete confidence in my salvation? Do I have complete confidence in Christ? Paul wants you to have it. Paul wanted the Colossians to have it. And the way to have it is to understand this secret mystery, this ancient mystery of God's gospel, that Jesus can be in you personally, changing you from the inside out.